1999. Bloodied and frantic, pilot Petey Shelbourne bursts into a pawn shop, clutching a disturbing toy, a mechanical monkey that bangs a drum. He warns the shop owner that the monkey is cursed. Every time it plays its tune, someone meets a gruesome fate. As if to prove his point, the monkey begins to play. For a moment, nothing happens. Then, a mouse chews through an electrical wire, which falls against a statue holding a harpoon gun. The gun fires, impaling the shop owner and gruesomely retracting with his intestines. In a panic, Petey grabs a flamethrower and tries to destroy the cursed toy. Haunted by the events, Petey abandons his wife, Lois, and their twin sons, Hal and Bill. In the present day, an older Hal narrates their childhood, explaining the rift between him and his brother. Hal was always quiet and timid, while Bill often bullied him. Their mother Lois, embittered by life, raised them with a cynical worldview. Years later, the twins discover the monkey among their father's old belongings with the phrase, "like life," scrawled on its box. A message they assume was meant to say, lifelike. Curious, Hal winds the key on the monkey's back, but it remains motionless. Later, their babysitter Annie takes the boys to a hibachi restaurant. Hal leaves the monkey in the car. While they're inside, the monkey suddenly begins to play its ominous drum beat. Moments later, the chef, who had been quietly flirting with Annie, accidentally decapitates her with his spatula. Her severed head lands on the sizzling grill, signaling the return of the curse. At school, Bill humiliates Hal by encouraging the other kids to mock him for constantly carrying around the toy monkey. Driven by frustration and resentment, Hal impulsively attempts to use the monkey to harm Bill. He winds the key and waits. Bill arrives home while Lois is baking a cake. But once the monkey finishes its haunting drumbeat, tragedy strikes. Lois suddenly begins bleeding profusely from every part of her face and collapses, lifeless, on the kitchen floor. An adult Hal later explains that her official cause of death was termed a boomerang aneurysm. During the funeral, a devastated Bill desperately tries to wake his mother, unable to accept her death. Convinced that the monkey is to blame, Hal resolves to destroy it, violently hacking it to pieces. The twins are then sent to live with their Uncle Chip and Aunt Ida, but to their horror, the monkey mysteriously reappears in perfect condition. Bill, still skeptical of its supposed curse, winds the key himself. Shortly afterward, during a family camping trip, Uncle Chip is trampled to death by a sudden stampede of wild horses while he sleeps in his tent, his body gruesomely mangled beyond recognition. Horrified, the boys seal the monkey in its box and throw it into a deep well, hoping to bury its evil for good. 25 years later, Hal lives in isolation, emotionally scarred and consumed by fear. He has a young son, Petey, whom he only sees once a year out of deep anxiety that something terrible might happen to him. When Hal arrives to pick up Petey for their annual visit, he is blindsided by news from his ex-wife and her new husband, Ted Hammerman, a self-proclaimed leading expert. Ted informs Hal that he is officially adopting Petey, and they both feel it would be in the child's best interest for Hal to step out of his life permanently. Aunt Ida, now living alone, ventures into her basement where she falls through a weakened staircase, embedding numerous fishhooks into her face. As she attempts to treat the wounds with rubbing alcohol, a strange noise emanates from the stove. When she leans in to investigate, the stove ignites, setting her entire head ablaze. In a state of panic, she stumbles out of the house, only to impale herself on the sharp end of a "for sale" sign. Following her gruesome death, her belongings are sold off at an estate sale, among them the cursed monkey. It's picked up by Ricky, a reclusive young boy and the son of a local police officer. Meanwhile, Hal takes Petey on a trip, planning to stop at a horror-themed amusement park. As part of a school project, Petey asks Hal about their family tree. Hal lies, claiming he doesn't have a brother, but he does share some memories of his late mother, Lois. Later that night, Hal receives an unexpected call from Bill, their first contact in years. Bill warns him that the monkey has returned and urges him to visit Aunt Ida's house to handle her estate. Soon after, while Hal is outside, a fan falls into a puddle of water that's seeping into the nearby swimming pool. A woman approaches for a swim, and before Hal can warn her of the danger, she dives in. The electrified water kills her instantly in a violent explosion, confirming Hal's worst fear. The monkey is active once again. He immediately wakes Petey, urging him to leave at once. The two arrive at Ida's former home, where they are greeted by Barbara, an overly cheerful real estate agent. Petey becomes frustrated upon learning, from Barbara no less, that Hal has been hiding the existence of a brother. As they tour the house, Barbara mentions a string of bizarre and deadly accidents that have occurred in town since Ida's passing. When she opens a closet door, a shotgun rigged inside suddenly discharges, killing her instantly. In the chaos, a severed fingertip ends up in Hal's mouth. It's eventually revealed that Bill has been orchestrating the monkey's return. He secretly hired Ricky to retrieve it, intending to use its deadly curse to eliminate Hal. Blaming Hal for their mother's death, convinced that her demise was triggered when Hal activated the monkey as a child. Bill has been unleashing its power, resulting in the deaths of numerous innocent people in the process. Determined to finish what he started, Bill instructs Ricky to kidnap both Hal and Petey, hoping to manipulate Petey into turning the monkey's key himself, thereby sealing his father's fate. Meanwhile, the monkey continues its grim rampage, this time killing Hal's co-worker, Dwayne, who dies by choking on his vape pen. Ricky abducts Hal and Petey, taking them to Bill's remote hideout. While Ricky holds Hal at gunpoint in the car, Petey navigates a series of homemade booby traps to reach Bill inside. However, Ricky carelessly scratches his head with the gun and accidentally fires a shot into a nearby wasp nest. At that moment, Petey turns the monkey's key, triggering a horrifying reaction. The furious swarm shoots out of the hive, invades Ricky's mouth, and violently tears through his face. Hal rushes into the building to confront his estranged brother, but Bill, now consumed by madness, is enraged. He demands the monkey finish the job and kill Hal, even trying to forcibly manipulate its tiny hands to strike the drum. In response, the monkey begins pounding its drum rapidly, its cursed energy spiraling out of control. Outside, chaos erupts as a passenger plane suddenly crashes into the town, annihilating a large portion of the population, and confirming the monkey's apocalyptic potential. As the chaos subsides, Hal attempts to reconcile with Bill, offering a heartfelt apology for what happened to their mother. For a brief moment, it seems the brothers might finally mend their fractured relationship. Bill softens and agrees to try rebuilding their bond and becoming a real family again. But just as peace seems within reach, the monkey strikes its drum one final time. A hidden booby trap is triggered, sending a bowling ball hurtling across the room, striking Bill in the head and killing him instantly. Hal and Petey are left in stunned silence, quietly leaving the scene. Driving through the devastated town with the monkey in the back seat, they pass the haunting aftermath. Bodies scattered in the streets, remnants of destruction everywhere. As they pause at a red light, a pale figure on a white horse rides slowly by, strongly implied to be the personification of death. In a surreal moment, Death turns to Petey and invites him to dance, something his late grandmother Lois used to love. Petey accepts without fear. As they continue their drive, a bus filled with cheerleaders passes them, only to be suddenly decapitated by a passing truck in a final gruesome punctuation to the monkey's deadly legacy.